Okay, so I know there's a lot of content that we just covered, but I think it's super important. Can we ask for, we're not going to be long on this one, just 2 more sessions of a shotgun approach of what we've implemented over the last little while. You would have seen you've got these documents. We're not going to go through this entire document. We're going to skim over a lot of it, but there's a lot more detail within this thing, and also, like I said last night, what a big part of this is actually starting a conversation with you guys. There's a desire, there's I think a big need for relationship and cross-pollination amongst churches. As much as we are up here, there's so much that we can learn from you guys down there. And so, hopefully this is a resource. Specifically, we're going to be talking about the legal stuff now. So we'll make it interesting. It's not going to be a whole bunch of laws and stuff like that we're going to go through. We just want to open your eyes to what actually, as a ministry leader, what your responsibility is. And some of the things, hopefully, that can help you put into practice that can just say, keep your church safe. And I think a big thing, and one of the things we were told right in the beginning, and why safety is such an important factor for us, and should be for you guys, is if a situation happens at your church, it doesn't just affect your church, it affects the church globally. So actually, it affects the name of the church. If something happens where a parent witnesses or their kid is not kept safe in a location, they will never go back to a church. We pray that they do, but the likelihood of it not happening is not. So we've gone on a journey. Hopefully this can be a resource to you guys, and then let's start a conversation. So if we don't cover something in this, please feel free to reach out and actually we can chat and go from there. So we're gonna skim over this stuff and just take you through a little bit of what the journey that God's taken us on the last little while.
Given at the start of this process was that security would be viewed as a scaffolding with many layers, because sometimes it can be quite overwhelming to even know where to begin. So to be honest with you, I hope that from this session you feel freed and encouraged to start a journey more than the pressure to fulfill a whole lot of things that maybe you haven't considered yet. So our heart is to actually keep you free. I think often how these moments are handled is there's a horror story and then a policy that's presented as insurance. And that's not our heart today. We've had the privilege of incredible resources at 3CI, where there's been people within our leadership team that work in these spaces, and we've been able to go on a journey to create a lot of content, but we want to make that available to you in whatever way you can apply it to your space. Our heart is for that to be a resource.
I think, and also one thing, you'll receive USBs and you'll receive a whole bunch of online stuff that you can use. Everything is fully editable. So you can take it, you can apply your heart, you can apply your language. We've just done the hard yards in terms of prepping everything. And so it has been a two and a bit year journey of getting all of our legal stuff, because we were in the bush. We realized if something had happened in 3CR, someone was going to jail, just because our legal stuff was not in order. And so we've gone on this journey, but now we've made it available to you guys. So actually all you can do, you can put your logo, you can put your brand, you can put your language, you can put whatever your heart into it, but the hard yards is done. So the core of what it is done for you guys.
So our heart with this is actually just to approach this topic with faith, that we wouldn't approach it with fear, we wouldn't approach it from a position of lack, but we would actually approach it and say, actually, God, would you step into this space? Like we said, we've done a whole bunch of legal documentation, and we've had incredible resources that have helped us. So some of the resources are available via QR code on the information desk. We've had somebody with a PhD in social work be part of our team to go through this process. We've actually had one of the churches attending today, Richland's church, Johan and Estelle Meerding. He used to be a colonel in the police force and work with the Hawks. He has supported us with this process. some other resources, and lawyers worked to put this documentation together, and then we white labeled it. So like you said, you can add your own information. The reason why we've had it for 6 months and haven't handed it over to anyone yet is because a policy with a signature on it in a cupboard actually means nothing if it's not implemented. So we didn't want to give you a policy without actually the tools of why it's important and how you can make it actually keep kids safe and do what it's supposed to do. So there's 6 different documents. You can go into this book to read why they're important and how they work. But in essence, there's 3 questions that we feel if you can answer those 3 questions well, these 3 areas of questions, you can be confident that you're keeping kids safe. The reason why we are going through this journey is South Africa has the most incredible laws to protect children, because in this country, children need to be protected. So there is actually a legal obligation for ministers of the gospel, not just to protect kids, but to actively prevent harm. The legal reference is in the document. You can go find it. It's in the green section. But let's start. So the 3 areas are your children, your volunteers, and your spaces. So for kids, if you accept, if a child comes into your space and you're taking care of them for any period of time, you have a legal obligation to protect them. So for your children, if you can honestly answer the question that you have the information you need to keep them safe, this relates to who do they belong to, and do they have any major allergies? You're good? Do you know exactly who is present on a Sunday at any given time? And if asked the question, where is my child? You can answer it. You're doing very well. So the circumstance that you are trying to ensure that is correct and safe is that, number 1, the right kids are going to the right parents, and there isn't an opportunity where somebody else is able to collect them. And that if there's a situation where, for example, you have to evacuate the building because of a fire, you knew who you had accepted custody of. However you do that, you're good. We have an app where the parent logs in, puts all their details, and it prints 2 stickers so the codes line up. You're not allowed in without a sticker, and you're not allowed out without a sticker. And it creates a check-in list for us. But you're welcome to do that in whichever way.
And I think for us, this is where our registration process is super important. It's so much more than, hey, welcome to Kids Church, check you in and you go. In that space, we've asked guys, there's specific questions, and so we've had families arrive, for example, moms arrive and say, there's an active restraining order against the dad. He is not allowed to pick up the child. And we've had the dad show up. There's been a couple of cases where there is warrants out for arrest, there's restraining orders in place, and actually that is an incredible opportunity. And we've seen, and that's why we've got dads involved in our security, is to actually be like, sir, you are not allowed on this property. We have a legal obligation to protect this child, and you are not allowed to be here. And so you have every right to dismiss people off the property if that is the case. And that's why we say it's so important to go on a journey of communication with parents to establish that level of trust where you can speak and actually be like, hey, help us protect your kids as best as possible. And so I think to know where they are at times, we've had times where parents have come and they say, where's my kid? And we turn around thinking they should be there, and you look and they're gone. Because kids are kids. And we've spent about half an hour looking for these kids, and we're like, oh my God, like someone's taken the kid. And then next thing, out from the ball pit pops this little head, goes, hello! And you're like, ah! My word! Thank you, Jesus. But we've literally, it's so you do get those cases, but it's super important that you have an idea of who is who, where they are. And so we're lucky where we have a certain amount of space which we can demarcate to specific age groups. So even if we don't know exactly, we've got a great idea of where kids should be.
I think you might be a farm church where there's only 5 kids in the kids ministry, and all those 5 kids are your friends' kids. So you have their mom's numbers, you know who they belong to, and you're pretty aware of the peanut allergy. You're doing great. But if a visitor drops off a child, do you know who to phone if they do need the parent straight away? And do you with certainty know that you're handing them off to the right parent? If you can do that, you're doing a great job. Second question, volunteers. And I just want to say to us today, this is not about a witch hunt. This is not about saying to your volunteers, we don't trust you, so you having to prove all these levels to us. It's actually about saying, I want to be able to defend you with a parent to say, I know this person. I know which life group they're in. They've passed our police clearance. I have their full name, not their nickname. So if somebody asks me, I can point you to the real information of this person. So some questions to ask: do you have the paperwork in order? A question came across last night: do you have to do police clearances? The legislation doesn't outline. Do you want to swap? Doesn't give you a checklist of how you're supposed to prove that you've actively prevented harm, but it does give you a lot of things at your disposal to do that. So there's a basic police clearance you can do at Postnet. We've given you the resources of a couple of people that can come to your church and help you with that. And then there's 2 other reports in the document that work with the Child Protection Register, so people that maybe don't have a criminal record against children but have been proven unfit to work with children. And then the Sexual Offenders List. Those people are not allowed to work with children, anybody found on those 2 lists. So we've pointed you in the direction, and you can work out with your team how you're going to approach which documents you'd like to do. And then
I think something that is incredibly important. South African legislation is actually one of the world leading kind of legislations in terms of child protection. We have got so much stuff, which I think is also incredibly sad, because we've had to develop so much stuff. But there's so much stuff that is out there to help protect, and I think help serve your ministry team as best as possible, that we can put things into practice. But I think this is more a guide of what you guys can use, I think.
So with volunteers, like I said, we require you to be part of a life group, and then we do every 2 years we do a police clearance, and then when you first join our team, we make sure that we've done the sex offenders list and the child protection register, just so that we have that on file. That's how we go about volunteers. Something else that's really important is actually clarifying a code of conduct with your volunteers. This is how we engage with kids, and this is how we don't. We've got a whole volunteer code of conduct and graphic that goes with it, but we've summarized it in 3 things. You're never alone with a child, full stop. If it's a private matter, it's a 2-man matter. Never alone with a child. We treat children uniquely, not with favoritism. Because when there's separate, special relationships, that's often where things that should not be are happening. So we allow you to treat kids uniquely, but we don't allow an environment where there's favoritism. And then we treat physical contact with children intentionally. So it's age appropriate. If you've got a 3-year-old, it's not strange to pick them up when they're crying. It's strange to pick up a 13-year-old. So be thoughtful.
Yeah, and I think this is where the spiritual element is so important. And so use wisdom and discernment. And so you can notice something that's out of order very quickly. And I think you can nip it in the butt there and then and have a conversation. And so yes, we want to be gracious, and I think that's why it's important to build relationship with your volunteers. But do not be scared to have a hard conversation, because this is not a space for weird. This is not a space for for you to kind of go on a journey and be like, I'm just struck. No. This is something that we take incredibly seriously, and we will nip it in the butt immediately. And I think it's something that I think I like to be a joker, and I have a lot of fun, but it's something we do take quite seriously when it comes to protecting our children. Do not mess with our children. And I think that's you've got to be strong on those areas of what's okay and what's not. And I think we were talking about it last night. As South African culture, we're quite an affectionate culture, physically. So it's not weird to see a kid run in and a young man pick him up and throw him, and so you've got to define those things clearly, but you've got to be wise and you've got to be discerning. If there's something that doesn't sit right, and to be honest, we've had guys that have passed every single test they need, but there's just something inside of our hearts that is like, I don't think this is the right space for you to be, my bud, and I'm going to ask you to leave. And we've had guys get very cross with that, but I will stand on that thing. We have a responsibility to protect our children. This is not a space for weird. So yeah.
And I think being confident as a leader that if God has put you in this position with this responsibility at this time, you have got to pray that He's given you a discernment that maybe others won't have because they don't have that responsibility. That's outworked with your eldership team, with your leaders. It's a submitted process. It's outworked with them. But you've got to trust that discernment because of the responsibility you carry. The last area of questions is space. So kids, volunteers, spaces. We often come from quite a relaxed environment in South Africa, and one of the questions that I would pose to you is, do you have a secure kids ministry environment in terms of you have control over who's allowed in and out? So you know that once a kid's in, that they can't get out unless it's through your exit process, number one. And number two, people can't come in unless they're clearly supposed to be there. If you can answer that confidently, you're doing a great job. Is it clearly visible within your kids' ministry space who's supposed to be there and who's not? There's so many fun ways to do this. You can do shirts, you can do lanyards, you can do stickers. But if you walk through your space, is it very clear to tell who's on the team and who's not? And it's actually something we've built within our volunteer team, because we have a large team that's always growing. We're always onboarding new people. Even if you're just looking in, we have a lanyard for that. And we've empowered the team. We've said we're responsible for security, but it's a team sport. So if you see anyone you don't recognize, host them. Hi, how are you? Can I help you? Do you know where you're going? Oh, actually, okay, are you here to volunteer? Have you met with Ty and Mitch? And people can feel welcomed. They don't feel like we're assuming anything over them, but we're taking the security of our kids very seriously. So do you know, is your space secure? And do you know who are in your spaces?
Yeah, and I think if you go a little bit further on in the book to this blue section, it's just a helpful thing that some of the things we've implemented, and so lanyards are just super helpful, like volunteer lanyards, that you if you're part of the Kidsmen, you have a lanyard on. We've also got different shirts for different zones, and so our oldest group of kids, so grade 4s to 7s, that area is called the zone, and they've got white with yellow kind of graphics on it. If we see them at the juniors, we kind of like, why are you here? You've got to go to your space, because that's where you've been called to be. And so I think it's super helpful, but then it's very easy for us. And everyone on the back has got team down the back of their shirt. And so from front and back, you can recognize that's a person on team. And so when in the area, when the service is started, no one outside of the people that should be there. And so it's very clear to immediately identify, hang on, why are you here? What is the purpose? And we go with grace, but we go strongly. And it's like, hey, can I help you to the door? Go with God, but go. I think it's that thing of actually, like, if you're not supposed to be here, please leave. And so, yeah.
And I just want to encourage you that when you come to parents, and it's because you're taking their kids' security really seriously, there is this well of grace you will find. We've gone on a process where we've upgraded our security and added more levels, and it's taken parents time. And can I tell you, the amount of resistance we've had has been actually so freeing, because it's been so minimal, where they've got patience because they know the security is important. And I think as much as it's amazing for you to walk in a space and you to have confidence that you know it's a safe place, that you've done everything in your power to make it safe, parents can feel that as well when they walk in, and they can clearly identify, this is a volunteer, not just a random person playing with my child. It puts confidence in them. I know we talk about know your kids' names, but know your volunteers' names, that I left my child with Candace, not just the person in the blue shirt. So it's a really beautiful opportunity. I think we're going to do some questions now.
Your team shirts, are they kept by the church or do people take them home? We've given them to our volunteers. So it's theirs. I think, so when we first started, it was like, hey, we really want to invest in you. And so this is a gift from us to you. That's not always possible. But for us, the initial shirt was, this is a gift to you. Come be a part of it. But the requirement of that, if you damage it, if it's like if it tears or you lose it or something like that, it's your responsibility to replace it. So that's how we've done it. It might be different. So you don't necessarily need a shirt. That's just something we've gone after. If it's a lanyard, keep it at church. Because we wear staff lanyards because we're on full-time staff at 3CR. I've lost about 10 this year. It just goes, I've got it in my car, I've got it in my house, I've got it in my gym bag, I've just lost them. And so just keep them, put them on when you get there, take them off when you leave. I think that those are just, some things that you can implement.
Our police clearance docs are required for every single volunteer, including the Giggle Gang. So in order to do a police clearance, you have to give fingerprints and ID number. You're not allowed to take the fingerprints of somebody younger than 16. So below the age of 16, police clearance is not required. It's actually illegal to acquire the information needed for it. From 16 above, it's something that you need to outwork with your leadership team and your policy development in terms of what your comfort is in terms of risk. Some people do all of the documents every year. Some people say get all of the clearances done up front and then periodically update them. Is that okay?
Yeah. As leaders, do you oversee spaces on a Sunday or do you serve in them? We oversee. We are, I think, something that we've gone hard after, and I think we spoke about last night. We've tried to build away from ourselves, and so actually we've wanted to get to a place which has taken us some time. We've wanted to get to a place where a Sunday is not necessarily reliant on Ty and I being there. So our systems and stuff and the things that we've put in place can still work effectively with Ty and I removed. And so, like we spoke about last night as well, we've got different layers. So we've got a core team called the Power Team, which is guys on full-time staff, and Tlantla being one of them, and another lady by the name of Kolia. And so we'll meet on a Tuesday, we'll kind of work through the things, and then we'll make sure that a Sunday is ready and set to go. But we've got other people outside of that can help facilitate a Sunday. And so we've tried to build away from ourselves, which then also frees us up to connect with our volunteers, but then also be that buffer between parents and volunteers. So if there's a serious issue, actually it's not their responsibility to sort out, it's mine and Ty's, or the person that is leading that Sunday. So Kolia or Ntlantla or Kadi, or people that we've kind of raised up to that point. And so even this Sunday, this is our first Sunday where none of our major core leaders are there. Because one's at a wedding, we down here, and so it's quite exciting for me, because there's new people that are stepping up into the responsibility. With that, we've definitely included our elders in that story, and so they're aware, they know what's happening, and so if there is anything major that happens with regards to the life of the church, an elder will step in that space.
I think something that's quite important in this space to get buy-in from your volunteers is it's not about you not trusting them, it's about creating a space where people that are vulnerable can trust. So it's saying, can you partner with me on this, because this is changing the face of South Africa? Because when we pay extra attention to how we engage with kids, I have faith that children that are in difficult circumstances, they can come into your kids' ministry, experience kindness, love, safety, peace, healthy affection, healthy contact, and go, this is good, this is safe, and it's not what that is. So this is the space. This is the space that kids should be able to run to. This is us paying a lot of attention to things. We are saying you are helping us create an environment where God can send the people that need Him the most to us. It's not about us not trusting you. It's about us wanting to prepare for what God could send us. That creates a lot of space with your volunteers.
Yeah, and I think there's a question here of, do you know who has T-shirts and lanyards? I think something that we've been really, really strong on is making sure that everything is documented. And so we've just been overboard with regards to that. So if you get a shirt, you've signed for it, you've put your name in, so we know that you've been given a shirt. It's just helpful to track how many shirts we've got left, but it is super helpful to know that you have been given a shirt, and we know that you're a part of this team.
So one of the things that we would love to actually encourage you with is this journey of going on legal compliance. For us, it's been about, one, we have an obligation to be above reproach in terms of a non-negotiable government requirement. They don't tell you how to do it, but they say you need to actively prevent harm. You need to outwork in your church leadership what that looks like in your context. So we want to be above reproach in terms of that. But actually our heart is God's standard for taking care of kids. There's a scripture in here, it talks about Matthew. It's so hectic. It says, those who want to cause a kid to stumble, it's better for them to throw themselves into the sea. So that's the standard that we come to with this, and we come to it with faith. It's not about a hiding, it's not about a witch hunt. It's saying, God, we're gonna come to the table and steward this area well, steward it with faith and see what you're gonna do. And what's come out of that what's come out of this heart in our situation has actually been life-giving. There's a young man here today that, because we went on the process of saying everyone, staff included, people we know, people we don't know, we're going to go on the journey of police clearance, it radically changed his life. So we're going to show you a video and then we're going to have a testimony.
You might know me as Dash, but my name is Tyler-Page. I was born at Tembisa Hospital in October 2000, and I was raised by my mom in the CBD of Pretoria. I've never known my father as he left us when I was still young. When he left, he took all of my official documents. For 24 years, I had no identity papers, and I was declared a stateless being. In 2023, I was invited to church by a friend, and I kept coming back. I eventually started serving in the bomb squad at Kids Ministry, and through serving, I made friends who have become like brothers to me. I got baptized in my life group in front of all my friends. I'm now employed at 3CI, and I love serving others and having a team of people that back me and love me. I'm also part of a men's group, and in this group, men like Avi helped me get back to Zimbabwe to sort out my documentation. It was really tough for me, but last month I returned from Zimbabwe with my birth certificate, ID, and passport. Every time you come up these stairs to church, know that God will give you a new name. He has a hope and a future for you. He can redeem your story. Like it says in the first chapter of Ruth, your people will be my people, and your God will be my God. You are not a stateless being. Today I have a name, I have a people, and I have a God. My name is Ntantla.
This is our dear friend, and he's going to share what kids ministry has been in his life.
Yeah. Hi guys. How are you? Really, yeah, not much to say, but just God has been kind. And coming in Kids Man, I remember I was this young, depressed, and angry young man. But really, through serving in Kids Man, God has brought God has been kind. Like not knowing my dad, and God being kind to have men like that in my church and in my space as well. Watching that video, I just get emotional. Sorry, but it's just through serving in Kids, man, God has been really kind. As much as I thought I was sowing seeds in Kids, but God was sowing seeds in my heart as well. So that was really, really good to see. And really, I got amazing friends that right now really called brothers, and one of them is Kadi. I met at Bomb Squad, and through serving in Kidsmen, I got saved, got baptized, and now just knowing that I have a friend and a God who really cares, and all that just happened through Kidsmen, actually. So I want to encourage each and everyone here, just what you're doing. We serve a God that sees your doing, sees your heart. So yeah, just by serving on Sunday, He sees that. So I want to encourage everyone that God sees you. So yeah, thank you.
I think that is possibly one of the greatest, the greatest stories of redemption that I've ever seen take place in the life of the church. As we've watched this young man, literally he snuck up to me. We're doing police clearances. He was there, and he was like, "Actually, I don't have any documentation. What do I do?" And this started a process where he's now those very words, "You were declared a stateless being." It's like, it wrecked my heart. But actually now he is, honestly, I think one of the pillars of our community. He is a young man that is in our church. He is on our staff. He is loving kids, and he is facilitating the move of God in Pretoria and around the world. And so you're a blessing, my bro. We love you.
We're going to go into a short break now, but in closing, start the journey, do it with your team, but have faith. God can do incredible things when we steward His kids. Bless you.
The next session is how to have fun. So there's a lot of questions on having fun. But if there's anyone competitive, I'm looking for you, okay?